sent my kids off to school every day thinking they would be safe. And I think that's a general perception that the public has about their own individual schools.
If someone would ask me prior to April 20th, I would have said it could never happen at Columbine High School. This is an ideal high school.
Victim down 10 feet.
I looked down the hallway and there was a person, rather tall person with a white t-shirt, black baseball cap turned backwards. And I walked into the gunfire, and at that point all I remember is I'm going to die, or what is it going to feel like to have bullets pierce your body. And I hear the glass breaking behind me and I froze.
When I climbed through that window at Columbine, I was told 6 shooters inside that school. No idea where they were. Hunting for these guys. Every door we opened, we thought we're going to be in a gun battle. Here it is.
Anne Marie was shot and paralyzed. They didn't expect her to make it.
Dave Sanders, who's a dear friend of mine, came up the staircase about the same time I came out my door. And so basically when the gunman was coming towards me, he stopped when he saw Dave, turned and went and shot Dave in the back.
Both as a parent and as a professional dealing in recovery. No one wants to see children have to go through that, or faculty.
When they said that we had to go, I grabbed my cell phone.
It's okay, baby. It's been a big day for everybody.
The shooting happened in Columbine High School, but the entire community was affected. I mean, the ripple effect was immense.
In 2009, our cameras traveled to Columbine High School and to Platte Canyon High, two schools nestled in scenic Colorado communities, and the sites of two of America's most infamous, unexpected, and tragic incidents of violence.
Check, no bad guys, just kids. We reform up in a tighter triangle, and I'm coming this way, and I scan immediately over here where I see the bad guy here with a pistol to a young lady's head. And my target's probably this big, and he's saying he'll do it, he'll shoot, he'll kill her.
When the SWAT team entered the room, the perpetrator had her in his grip.
When Emily was shot and killed right in front of us as we put rounds into the suspect shot himself. That happened less than the distance that you and I are standing at.
Emily's gift was a voice, and we can talk about this. We can get the conversation on the table.
From the heartbreaking stories of these brave families and the unforgettable experiences of students, administrators, and law enforcement, a very real need to improve school safety has emerged.
The days of sending your kids to school and just assuming that everything is taken care of or everything is just going to go along fine, those days are over. And we've had many wake-up calls. And to not hear those calls, I think, is a huge mistake.
By sharing these and other stories of school violence from around the nation and around the world, and adding the advice of security experts,
there is something in our society that has allowed people to believe that they can prey upon one another, that they can go into a building and kill innocents.
On April 20th, 1999, 2 Columbine High School seniors, armed with homemade bombs, rifles, and sawed-off shotguns, entered their high school and engaged in a spree of destruction that left 12 of their peers and 1 teacher dead. 21 students wounded or permanently disabled, and the world stunned.
I remember my secretary, I remember her face hitting the window, and she was in a state of panic. She opened the door and told me that there had been gunfire. What I remembered is I walked calmly out of my office. I told my secretary, Susan White, please call 911. I walked calmly out into the office, and then my worst nightmare became reality. I walked right into the gunfire.
You are so innocent at age 16, and I don't think it's truly possible for someone to deal with the magnitude of a school shooting when you are so young.
7 years later, and only 32 miles from Columbine, in mountainous Bailey, Colorado, a man pulled the hood of his jacket over his head and walked with students during the change of classes, undetected, right into Platte Canyon High School.
My school was shot up. He has hostages.
He entered an English classroom and held 7 girls hostage, methodically assaulting them as SWAT and police tried to negotiate or get a shot at him.
He never wanted anything, no demands, there's nothing we could do, although he did from time to time release a young lady. But yeah, the stuff we were seeing through mirrors and stuff was atrocious, so it was very difficult to witness.
Reinforced safety glass beside the locked door prevented police from shooting the gunman. They had few options. At the same time, worried parents gathered at a nearby command post, awaiting news of their children's safety.
I'm freaking out. I just want my kids.
Among them was John Michael Keyes, father of Emily Keyes, one of the girls held hostage in room 206.
Over the course of the afternoon, 5 girls were released. The gunman said that it'll all be over at 4 o'clock, and that made everyone pretty attentive, evidently. And slightly before 4, the SWAT team went into the room and tried to get both girls out. And they were able to shield the other girl.
Some families were relieved to be reunited with their kids. John Michael Keyes got a text message from his daughter stating simply, "I love you guys."
Immediately texted back, "Where are you?" And that was it.
And when he told me the text message Emily had sent out, "I love you guys," my heart fell, because I knew there was something. She was scared. The perpetrator had her in his grip and shot her in the head.
And I was the team leader at Platte Canyon. At the explosive breach, I was third into the room when Emily was shot and killed right in front of us as we put rounds into the suspect. The suspect shot himself.
I just knew I couldn't wait to hug her again. And never having that chance was devastating.
The sad part about that is you don't count the lives that were saved. You remember the life that was lost. And those are your memories.
Let's start out by acknowledging that schools in this country are very safe, usually compared to the neighborhoods they're located in. But on one day, someone shows up and inflicts a great deal of harm on a lot of people. And anyone who says it can't happen here hasn't been paying attention to history or current events. Because some of the least likely places that a person can imagine have had some of the worst possible incidents. One only has to imagine the Amish schoolhouse in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania.
I would never be able to forget October 2nd, 2006. It was a Monday, it was beautiful weather. It's one of those days that when I received the initial information that there was a barricaded subject in a school, I've been a part of numerous barricaded subjects throughout my career, and historically we've always had peaceful resolutions. Obviously, as we know, it wasn't a peaceful resolution.
In quiet, rural West Nickel Mine, Pennsylvania, in the fall of 2006, a man entered a one-room old order Amish schoolhouse, dismissed visitors and all the male students, and barricaded the door using supplies he'd ordered the boys to carry in from his truck. As police arrived, he began shooting the girls, ages 6 to 13, killing 5 and wounding several others. As police entered, he took his own life.
He made a tactical decision to go into this place. It was a location of opportunity where he could find the victims that he wanted to find. I mean, the bottom line was he planned this out meticulously. He went in there and, he executed these children.
When you looked at the West Nickel Mine school shooting, they had no security system in place at all. The doors were not locked. There was no camera, no locked doors, no method of contacting 911. It was just an isolated, tucked away, one-room schoolhouse for the Amish community.
Such attacks on schools are not new in America. The deadliest mass...
I'm not advocating an armed fortress. I don't think that's conducive to education. But I do think that
There are ample resources available to aid the process of creating safer schools, but the solutions begin when people start demanding them.
And I'm not advocating an armed fortress. I don't think that's conducive to education. But I do think that there is a responsibility beyond law enforcement to create those safe schools. And again, it's the parents, it's the school officials, and it's the kids, and it's the teachers, all working together to take ownership that this is our school, and by golly, we have plans, and we exercise our plans, and because we are cognizant of it could happen here, we feel safe. We feel safe.
We have to... At any school.
Look at me, I've been in 3. And if you're naive enough to think that it's not going to, that's when it's going to reach up and it's going to bite you. So prepare that it's going to happen. Understand that it is. Pray that it doesn't. But when it does, be prepared.
When you witness the terror, the trauma that occurs, and see the difficulty in returning back to whatever a new normal is, you become passionate about school safety, and you want to empower other people to take whatever efforts they can to be prepared, have good response plans in place, and to do everything they can to prevent future acts from occurring.